Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Welcome back and hello. How you doing? Well, welcome back. I'm not sure what's to welcome back to, but you know whatever it is. How you doing? This is a little special runaway, one away live stream show I thought I'd put together. Of course, off the back of the bombshell news that just broke the last few minutes or so. Donald Trump's Twitter account's been permanently suspended. And now it seems like all the tech overlords are essentially reaching out into the depths of the app space and taking down anything else that he can get on. I've heard rumors about Parler and a few other places getting taken down, so I thought, why not compile some of that stuff and put it all onto this little live stream, so I'm not doing it all on the other show that I do normally. So if it's your first time tuning in, as per usual, you know what to do. Make sure you smash all the buttons and stuff, smash the likes, give me a little thumbs up and all that stuff. Subscribe if it's your first time around. Yeah, leave me a comment in the chat and I'll be checking on all those things as we go along, in it, bit by bit, star by star. But yeah, man, crazy times. Yes, Smiley, what's up, man? Crazy times, innit? We're living in crazy times, mate. Who would have guessed it, innit? Who would have guessed it? Things have started off with a bang. 2020 was a was a mad year already, right? And I kind of think we all assumed 2021 will kind of start off a bit slow, especially with COVID and vaccines and all that stuff. It'd be a bit boring. We're going to just slowly but surely crawl over the line, and by the summer, if we get back to normal, we can kind of get our lives back to normal, start piecing the pieces back together. But Jesus Christ, man. From the very beginning, right? Dr. Dre getting a brain aneurysm, and basically from all the stress he's going through with his divorce. And then you got, the Capitol building storming. And then off the back of that, you've got Trump putting out 2 videos, right? Apologizing and then not apologizing. And then suddenly his Twitter account gets suspended. They say, oh, you suspended it for time being. If you delete your videos, we're going to take it down. Then he puts out another tweet and they're like, nah. We can't have this anymore. And it just completely delete his account. It's mad, isn't it? You would never think that happened, actually. Like, I'd never thought, especially after the appearances that Jack Dorsey did on Twitter. Oh no, Jack Dorsey appeared on Joe Rogan a few times. I think this might have been the occasion when he was on there with the lawyer woman, and he was, I don't know what it was off the back of. That might be when Alex Jones was banned around that time. And he gave the impression that they would never delete or suspend Donald Trump's account because it was within the public's interest to basically let him have an account that he could speak openly on and communicate with his fans. Because if they delete his account, then where do you kind of draw the line in it? That's kind of the feeling you've got when Jack Dorsey was on Joe Rogan. Then suddenly between then and now, that might have been what? That might have been 2018, I think, around that time. Between now and then, things have changed so drastically. And if we're completely honest, right, as much as Trump can be a very divisive figure, and he's he's not the easiest person to get along with, it seems like. Has he really changed that much since then to now? Has he really done anything that different? I think all the dog whistling and stuff to the, white nationalists and all that malarkey, I think he was doing that before anyway. People are reading too much into it at some points, and then it was right at some points. There is some truth to it. But I don't think he's necessarily changed that much since 2018 to 2020. So the honest reaction to the news of him getting his account permanently suspended from Twitter would be, why wait now? If you were going to do it anyway, like, again, I don't agree with it because I don't think you should be suspending or banning the sitting president of any country. It's ridiculous, right? Twitter is a public square. It's where everybody basically gets involved with, public discourse. And the moment you're deleted from that, ask Milo Yiannopoulos, you're completely eradicated from existence. It's like you don't matter anymore. And I don't think that's fair. I think if that's the case, then, those platforms should turn into a publishing platform and not a social media platform. I think everyone should be allowed to have their say. And if you deem them to be crazy, then people just leave the crazy people in the corner. But this idea they can just banish them for good is just insane. It doesn't make any sense. Short-sighted, and it's probably going to shoot them in the foot. But if that's your decision, if you think he's a risk, he's an existential risk, why not just ban him in 2018? Why would you let all this damage go on all this time? Is it because he was, I assume the introduction of when Trump was elected, I'm assuming there's probably a direct correlation between when Trump was elected and when Twitter's stock went sky high, because there was a time when Twitter was dying a bit, and I'm sure Trump coming back, having the presidency during that time definitely gave them a little pep up their step. You know what I mean? So they probably obviously kept him on a platform to serve their own interest. It then backfired, and now they're trying to act as if holier than thou. It's like, come on, man, come on. It's a mad situation. But again, I don't think he gave himself any favors. I think Trump's not been. He's just I don't know, how do you say it? He sort of didn't give himself any favors, did he? He really didn't give himself any favors. Like, he really went out of his way to annoy everybody, and I think that's basically where he fucked up. He should have been a little bit more. I'm not dare I say diplomatic, not diplomatic. I don't know. Like, if he honestly, like, because again, I don't, all this election fraud stuff, I think it's whatever, in it. It's a, from the looks of it, and the outside looking in. I'm not a politics guy, so don't come to me for politics talk, even though I'm talking about it right now. But from what I can understand, all this talk about election fraud seems to me, right, from my own silly point of view, it seems to be a little bit of a no-goer, right? There's not much evidence to support it, right, at the moment. There might be some evidence later on the line when he comes out of office. I won't be surprised, right? In the same way that the same way, like, suddenly the vaccine, the COVID vaccine, or let me sort of say this because I don't want to get banned from here, but the same way the vaccine got approved suddenly as soon as Joe Biden won, it would be no surprise if, as soon as Trump is out of office, you suddenly start getting, don't be surprised if you start suddenly getting news articles confirming the fact that there was some sort of election fraud going on. Because I don't believe it completely contributed to him losing the election, but also don't believe it does not exist. I think it's somewhere in the middle. I just think he went about it the wrong way. I think if you're going to try and prove election fraud, you have to deal with it in a more, I don't know, fact-based way, maybe some proof, some evidence. But I think the fact that they went after him for that whole, like, Russia spying thing, right, the whole Russia gate, I think he really had a bee in his bonnet, and he was like, all right, cool, watch, I'm gonna get you guys back. And he went out hell for leather, trying to get revenge on them by proving, see, if you call me a crook, you're a crook too. And it's like, yeah, but that's not necessarily, and it just didn't work. It just kind of backfired, it feels like, on him. So I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a weird place to be in. I just honestly think it's a weird place to be in. I don't know, man. It's a weird place to be in. Man, I started watching the Schitt's Creek, and I knew those guys would look familiar. Big up, Eric. Yes, you know the vibes. You know the vibes, man. We're wearing the Schitt's Creek glasses. That's what they are. These glasses were made actually famous by Kurt Cobain, but as much as culture has moved on, they're now being referred to as the Schitt's Creek glasses. Was this Dosh Pitt said there's wide scale fraud, man? Of course, yeah, no, for sure. There's fraud everywhere, man. There's fraud in flipping Poundland shops and shit. Do you know what I mean? There's frauds everywhere. Like, the people that are out there saying that fraud doesn't exist, and oh no, he just lost fair and square. It's like, nah, they can fraud whatever they want, and I'm pretty sure they, like, you can see from the reaction online, right? There's thank you Twitter was trending. Right, thank you thank you Twitter was trending. Oh, you said no. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Thank you Twitter was trending. So people clearly hate this guy with a hatred that I've not seen in years. This is really, really weird. Like, they really hate him. So I'm sure if you hate somebody that much, you would go out your way to do something. Now, again, do I think the scale of the fraud was enough for him to lose an entire election? I don't think so, but it might have been enough to kind of upset the balance, upset the scales. But I also think he messed himself up. Do you know what I mean? He spent the whole entire election prior, right, telling people not to do mail-in votes, and then what happened? COVID, right? Bad timing for him, and then suddenly mail-in votes are super important, and then his base are saying mail-in votes are fraudulent. It's like he shot himself in the foot in that one. But what can you do? But yeah, so the major news, I guess, on the back of that is this news here. Twitter permanently suspends Trump's account. Absolutely nuts, isn't it? So this is from the BBC. It says US President Donald Trump has been permanently suspended from Twitter due to a risk of further incitement of violence, the company said. Twitter said the decision was made after the close review of tweets from Donald Trump's account and the context around them. Mr. Trump had earlier been blocked out of his account for 12 hours. Twitter warned that it would ban Mr. Trump permanently if he breached the platform again. Reciting the permanent ban, Trump's campaign advisor said, "It's disgusting if you don't think you're coming from me." So the 12-hour ban, I think, was because of those two videos, right, that he put out. I know, like, oh, if he deletes them, then he's gonna be okay. So I'm assuming he didn't delete them. Yeah, behind the scenes, like, nah, I'm not deleting that. Like, I'm gonna keep that up. So once that happened, they were like, all right, cool, you keep it up, you're done. I'm assuming so, which is odd. It continues here. Said also on Friday, Google suspended Parler, a self-styled free speech rival on Twitter that is increasingly popular with Trump supporters, from its online store. We are aware of the continued persisting of Parler and app, and that seeks to create ongoing violence. Now, that's the bit that I don't like. Cool, you don't like the guy, fair enough, go after him, delete him from the account. But this censorship of tech platforms, like all over, this kind of it looks like, how would you say, this sort of like collusion that these tech platforms have. It happened with Alex Jones, the same thing, right? No one's excusing what he might have allegedly said about Sandy Hook, but the fact that all the platforms sort of like dominoes decided to take him off their all the sites took him off their platform at the same time was just weird. And I don't think people make enough noise about it. Like, how can these people suddenly, because Trump gets banned from Twitter, why does that suddenly mean that Parler can get knocked off as well? That doesn't make any sense. And supposedly, the Apple Store has now put like a 24-hour review on them or something. So if they don't change their terms and conditions, they're going to be removed from the Apple Store as well, which is essentially going to kill their business. They're gonna completely cease to exist within the space of 48 hours if they don't, buck up and kiss the ring. It's a madness, bro. It's honestly a madness. Like, I don't understand why people think censorship like this should be something to be applauded, especially this wide scale, right? Where all these places are meant to be private platforms, right? Places that people make on their own, and then suddenly they're all in cahoots in terms of who can and cannot say certain things on certain platforms. I'm always of the adage, I always adopt the adage of like, if there's a crazy guy in a room, just let him be crazy in the corner. You don't have to go over and chuck them out of the window. That does nothing. That just incites violence. That just upsets the rhythm of the rave. Just let crazy people be crazy in the corner. I guarantee you, if you let people get like Trump just fizzle out and burn and ignore him, it's all well and good. But now look, they're just going to be adding more petrol to the fire, right? They're going to go and try and indict him. They're going to go try and get him arrested, get him put in court, go after his family. It's like, that's not the way to go. That's not how you kind of heal a nation. And again, that's the thing you have to remember too. As much as all those people that went to the Capitol building are complete idiots, right? They're complete dumb nuts. They've probably ruined their entire lives. Most of them have been fired from their jobs, regular jobs too. A lot of people that have been, that Capitol building storming, just regular folk, right? Just trying to earn a living, who are obviously feeling somewhat disenchanted with how things are going in the world, especially in America. Now look at them. They've been completely left in the lurch. All those people that riled them up, Donald Trump, his sons, Rudy Giuliani, all these people, they're going to be sitting cushy in their multi-million-dollar mansions, their mech mansions, chilling with their partners, relaxing, having one of these little aperitifs probably that I'm having, and just relaxing and enjoying life. No one's going to be reaching out to the people arrested. No one's going to pay for the funeral service of that young lady that passed away. So the ones that actually suffer are the ones that are on the ground. Do you know what I mean? Like, as per usual. Mad, innit? It continues. Mr. Trump's Twitter ban came on Friday after he tweeted several messages on Wednesday calling the people who stormed the US Capitol patriots. Hundreds of his supporters entered the Capitol building as US Congress attempted to certify Joe Biden's victory in the presidential election. The ensuing violence led to the deaths of 4 civilians and a police officer. Are you hearing this, bruv? 5 people died off the back of these people, riling up their base for what? All of this rah-rah stuff, right? And Joe Biden is still going to be president. Kamala Harris is still going to be vice. The squad are probably going to infest every part of politics in America. It did absolutely nothing. If anything, it drove more of a wedge between the entire country. Now people are even more divided than they were prior. And monumental fuck up. Monumental. It continues. The siege took place just hours after Trump addressed his supporters and told them, we will never give up. We will never concede. Well, you are conceding now, mate. You're conceded. On Thursday, Facebook said it suspended Trump's indefinitely, and the popular gaming platform Twitch also placed an indefinite ban on outgoing president channel, which has been used to rally broadcasts. So has Snapchat. So he's been banned from all social media platforms. Facebook is a big one, yeah, I'm assuming, because a lot of his base will probably be on Facebook. Twitch, I'm not sure a lot of people are, tuning in to see Trump play, I don't know, Call of Duty. That's probably not going to happen, innit? So that I think he's okay with. Snapchat, I don't know about that as well, but he's been banned from every single platform. Do you know how insane that is? A sitting president. That is absolutely wild. It says there, two online Trump memorabilia stores were closed this week, but e-commerce Shopify's even got him. On Friday, Reddit banned his Donald Trump forum for, so he's actually excommunicated from social media, from the internet. He doesn't exist. So he's gonna have to set up his entire own website, like Alex Jones style, and just get it hosted on some Russian server somewhere, because I'm sure you're not gonna be able to use Amazon Web Service for sure. Mr. Trump used Twitter to insult adversaries, cheer allies, fire officials, vent grievances, often using capital letters and exclamation marks. So basically, he was like all of us, right? He used Twitter the same way me and you do, but he just forgot that he was the president. That's the one thing that that fucked him up, right? Because again, I'm not making excuses for a guy, because I'm not really a fan of his communication style. But I think the one thing that messed him up, he didn't once try to be presidential. He just went about the presidency the same way that he went about being a TV personality, a media figure. And I think that's what messed him up ultimately. If he would have went about it being a little bit, you know, if you would have used, because that's the thing that's disappointing too, from I guess if you're a fan of his, right, is that you would imagine somebody like him coming in, a complete political outsider, right, somebody that no one expected was going to win, you know, not the most intelligent sounding guy in the world, a bit brass, a bit crass. You'd assume it'd be a great opportunity to come in and just, like, you know, make a change, shake things up a little bit, change some things around, maybe sprinkle some of your celebrity stardust on things and see if it fixes things, or come in with just a fresh outlook on situations, foreign affairs, like even the stuff he did with North Korea, right? As pastiche and, you know, performative as that was pretty cool to see that. Okay, cool, there was a world leader in North America who were like doing their thing, you know, but he just messed it up completely. He pissed off it seems like the majority of people, even his own base, right? Now you're seeing all the Republican guys turning on him, and now look, absolutely madness. And now we see what's going to happen, man. We'll see what's going to happen going forward. But I don't know. For him personally, I wonder what he does next. What do you do next if you're him? Do you go and start your own media company? Do you lay low? Because he'll be fine in Hollywood, because Hollywood loves a little bit of a train wreck, right? And he's good for rating. No, train wreck and ratings. For sure, he'll be fine for ratings. He's gonna get another chance at the limelight, right? Someone's gonna want to turn him or his story into some sort of thing. So I can see that happening. But I wonder. But I think he will anyway. Well, I think he will come back to the limelight, especially when you see this. So he got banned off Twitter, obviously, as you all know. And then I guess he then decided to use his other account, the POTUS account, and tweet from there, and then Twitter shut down that one again. I think this is a screenshot here from this guy called Josh Wingroves. This is from Trump returns on his POTUS account. So yeah, this is what he tweeted earlier. Absolute psychopath, isn't it, this guy? Like, he's just running around trying to use other people's accounts. It'll be funny who have another account that says, like, you know, 999 or something in a bit. But yeah, this is what he said when he came back. As I've been saying for a long time, Twitter is going further and further banning free speech. And tonight, Twitter employees have coordinated Democrats and radical left in removing my account from their platform to silence me and you, the 75 million great patriots who voted for me. Twitter may be a private company, but without the government gift of Section 230, they would not exist for so long. I predicted this would happen. We have been negotiating with various other sites and will have a big announcement soon. While also look out at the possibilities of building out our own platform in the near future. We will not be silenced. Twitter is not about free speech. They're all about promoting radical left platform. There will be a platform where some of the most vicious people in the world are allowed to speak freely. Stay tuned. The issue I have with this as well, with this guy, right? He's an absolute joke, because he had 4 years to make the changes necessary so that places like Twitter and Facebook and all those kind of places couldn't decide to just silence people because they didn't like what they had to say. He had 4 years to do that, and he didn't do nothing, right? He enjoyed, I guess, the luxuries of being a president, flying in that helicopter to his flipping golf courses, saying mad thing on Twitter, and no, he's never going to, because I think that's what he thinks. He started feeling himself. He thought he was untouchable. He thought he could never get banned, and then suddenly he lost the election, which kind of gave him that fear, of that cloak of invisibility kind of got pulled off of him, and he got exposed. And now he's trying to talk about, oh, we're going to build another site. Who cares, man? But the issue is, if you're an American, innit? Like half of your country are like what? Are proper disenfranchised now. So you tell me half of America is going to be on some other platform talking mad smack about the other side. It's going to be like this might end up being one of those things where it might happen before. I'm not sure if it happened. It must have happened in America. It's happened here in the UK too. This might be a situation I'm foreshadowing that maybe you might see a thing where there'll be a two-term each party. Each party will be in the office of the president for 2 terms. That might happen because the country's so divided. So, if the Democrats do well in this 4 years, then they'll probably get another 4. Then after that, of course, they're going to have to concede, and then someone's going to have to come in, and it's going to be the Republicans. If they do well, they'll get another 4 because it's so divided. There'll be no chance to kind of. I don't anticipate there being people deciding to change allegiances and vote for a Democrat in the next election. I don't see it because the wedge is just too far. People are so split. But then again, I don't know. Who knows, isn't it? Maybe some Republicans will say, "Oh no, he doesn't really represent me," because for sure there's no Democrats out there that like him, right? That think anything he did was right because that he's just completely pissed him off. But I don't know, man. I don't know. This doesn't seem like the right way to go about things. You would imagine there'd be another way to kind of make it work, but who knows? Who knows? Who's this UK equivalent of Tucker Carlson? You calling me a UK Tucker Carlson? How am I? I'd love to be a UK Tucker Carlson. Isn't he like isn't Tucker Carlson's aren't Tucker Carlson's parents like ice cream people or something? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm saying imagine there was one. What else are you saying in the chat here? Look here. Did Trump try to release the PMCs from the Blackwater private military company involved? Oh yeah, true. Yeah, Jason Diaz. Pardoning those people from Blackwater was one of the most blatant misuses of power that I've ever seen in my entire life. If that's not evidence of like some foreign government being at play here, I don't think what is, man. That was insane. I was like, what? You pardon guys from Blackwater? All right, cool. You are way beyond the pale, mate. And then Jason says here, QAnon supporters are now realizing that there's no Kraken that's gotten released, and now they are asking questions and posting videos of where are the next orders from Q. Yeah, the QAnon people are lost though, innit? They're just like, they're beyond the pale. Those are not people that you can kind of really have rational conversations with. You know what I mean? Like, they are way, way, way too far gone, and people like that, there's no rescuing. You just have to kind of let them do their thing. They're clueless now. They're waking up. Yeah, of course, but it's too late to wake up now. Like things have gone too far. I don't think they can ever wake up. I think once you start believing those things, again, is there a conspiracy? Yes. Do conspiracies exist? Of course they do. But to a level that those QAnon people think, of course not. But I think once you start believing in that stuff and you go down that rabbit hole, it's pretty impossible for you to pull yourself back in again. I just don't think it's happening. You're always going to be that person. Unfortunately, it's just the nature of the beast, isn't it? It really is just the nature of the beast. What else do we have here? Let's get this off the screen. Let's move on. Yeah, it really is an unfortunate situation all in. But I thought this quote here was quite funny. This was a pretty accurate quote. This is a screenshot, I'm assuming, from 4chan, and it says the following. So can you see on the screen? Imagine spending the better part of the last 5 years having your brain and ego melted by the uninterrupted political talk exposure on 4chan. Flying to Washington in the middle of a pandemic to hear Trump whine about Oprah and Mike Pence at a rally. Marching up to Congress on his orders to smash shit and then mill around aimlessly. You go home, you hear that Biden won anyway, and all of your favorite tweet news sources named like Patriot Newsmen of the West with avatars of Roman statues have posted your photo online and are labeling you a quote-unquote gay communist Antifa actor. Then the next day, the God Emperor who pasted into the Warhammer, so you pasted into the Warhammer memes, puts out a video cucking himself and bending the knee. I'm sorry, those were heinous acts. Please let me tweet back again, Jack. You can't leave DC because the airlines have dubbed you a flight risk. You can't stay because the cops are actively looking for you after one of their own died. And your roommate at the only hotel that would accept you is a guy named Base Kekistan 1418 who wants to show you his Goblin Slayer torrents. The sun is going down and you're getting cold. That is such an accurate summation of the last day's events, isn't it? Like, those guys have got, if there ever was a scam, if there was a great plan, those guys basically fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. They all went up, traversing the side of buildings, only to get smashed completely down and left in a complete lurch in it. An absolute shit show of a situation, man. Like, absolute shit show. And then I guess what have I got here? I got some videos here of some of the more hilarious ones. This one was hilarious. This guy gets asked the question and look at his response. This is meant to be a parody, but obviously, you know, there's no greater parody than actual reality. So hear what this guy has to say. Let's get the volume down a little bit. Let's put this up.
I'm here on January 6th in the biggest gathering of losers in Washington, D.C. in a long, long time. Here's one.
I really hope this is real, by the way. I hope this is real. Tell me if this is real in the chat. What do you think?
Now.
I'm going to have you take one of me. Yes, sir.
What would you say to Donald Trump if you were talking to him right now?
I'd say you're the greatest president of our lifetime, and I'm 65, and I've seen a lot going on that is so false and fraudulent, it sickens me, and I will die standing in my boots as a patriot for this country. If this goes wrong, it's not gonna be good.
There you have
it.
I'm here on
Honestly, I swear to God, I wouldn't even cry that much if my dog died. Legitimately. Maybe if I lost my passport on the way to a really big holiday, that might elicit some sort of tears. But who cries like that for politics? Like, who are these people? Someone please tell me, who are these people? Are these people real? Are they real humans? Like, absolutely insane. I will stand here in my boots. It's like, what? Bruv, go look after your children, man. And then the other one, oh God, what's here? We got some. This I'm not too worried about, right? I don't know what your reaction is about this in the chat, right? But this is basically a video showing different angles of cops walking away when everyone was protesting and, you know, right, and kind of storming the building. But I don't know. I don't think police officers in America get paid enough to put themselves in harm's way for a flipping federal building that people visit, you know, because for sure that Capitol building is open to the public on days outside of when they're counting votes, right? I'm sure it is, isn't it? Like any other public building. So I'm not really sold in this whole idea that, oh, they should have been standing up to these people, blah, blah, blah. So Washington Post, okay, they're highlighting somebody. Jesus Christ. Like, do you really think a police officer in America that is I don't know what hourly wage they're on, but I'm assuming it's not going to be much, or even salaried. Is that enough? Is that enough for you to put yourself in harm's way for politicians who are cowering behind the door, a glass window door, whatever it may be, not giving any assistance either? You get no support because the help came right, you know, soon, right at the end. Not soon, it came right at the end. God almighty, man.
They're leaving.
Okay. Also, what kind of phones do they have where they're able to live stream the entire day? Do you think they have battery packs, or is it just a really good smartphone? Because my phone will be dead like in a couple of hours. It's really cool how they'd be able to do that, to be fair. Oh, that's the girl that got shot, I'm assuming, right? She was full of life one moment, innit? Then snuffed out. What the hell? And they're all wearing those weird trapper hats as well. That's a really strange thing. I guess that's is that like a live stream thing, right? Wearing those kind of weird hats. I guess it's a way to kind of to help you stick out from the crowd, like my glasses, right? You want to be a bit different, so you wear like a funky hat. Is that a thing? These guys ain't the ones that's the Talking about hats, do you reckon those Make America Great Again hats are gonna be as, you know, because nowadays if you put one of those hats on, you're basically saying, you know, you're white supremacist. To some people, I don't think so. It's just a flipping hat. Who gives a shit? But do you reckon it's gonna have the same amount of power later on? in the years? Is it going to be the new Confederate flag or something, or is it just going to like the relevance is going to die and people are going to be wearing it? Yeah, or are people going to be wearing it ironically? Like, do you think hipsters in your area are going to start putting on a "Make America Great" hat again, hats just to kind of be a bit edgy? See people doing that. You remember when people were wearing like Osama bin Laden t-shirts and stuff, like just to be a bit like edgy, like you know how it is, you know? I wonder if that's going to be a thing.
We want you to go home. I'm recording, and there's so many people. It's just they're gonna push their way up here. Bro, I see people.
Oh, so they're encouraging the police officers. Hey, man, we don't want you to get hurt, so you might as well step aside and let us fuck up this building.
I don't want to see you get hurt. We will make a
cool.
make a path dead ass. Like,
cool.
That's what I'm saying. We'll make a path, bro. Please, just let us make a path. Just let us make a path. When the whole country hates I want you to go home. Go.
When the whole country hated you, we had your back. Yeah, cool, mate. I'm sure you having my back on social and retweeting my account is gonna pay for my kids' tuition. We had your account. Oh, they walked away. Okay, cool. But again, do you blame them for walking away? Honestly, do you blame them? Do you blame the cops for, you know, withstanding all that abuse, having a guy literally, you know, smash a window off the, you know, behind your back? And obviously they're begging for blood. You see more of them pouring into the building as you kind of look over their shoulders. Should you what? What should you be doing? Forming a human sacrifice shield and trying to halt them, or leaving them to whoever is going to be meeting them on the other side of the door? Because the thing that they didn't know too, the protesters, it seems like there was other security detail inside the, I guess, the main chamber bits, right? The people obviously that shot that lady, they were obviously in there. So it wasn't like the police officers were the only line of defense. They had other people that were obviously as well that were able to kind of take up arms and protect who they need to protect. And again, who would have guessed, right? After this moment, someone's life would have got taken away. Like it's always not funny, but it's like you know, the calm before the storm, right? It's all good. You're kicking in the door, you're making your point, yeah, mega, and then mega. I don't know why I said that, but yeah, and then suddenly, you know, someone's, you know, next you're looking down, and the girl that's screaming to your right hand side is covered in a pool of blood. It's like, yikes. They're taking off their helmets and their masks, because obviously I guess they're steaming up to smash the windows through, but then inadvertently they're also exposing their face. Genius. Uh-oh. And of course that was the gun, so I'm going to stop it from there because I don't want to get taken off the tube. But look at that gun just peering through. Look at it there. Peering through. That's a strap, mate. That is a strap. Peering through. You would imagine, I guess maybe it's because I'm from the UK and I'm not from over there, but I would imagine a lot of it, because again, I'm not from the States. I don't know how you guys are over there, but if that was me and I saw a strap when I was going to protest, I would just immediately freeze. But I guess because you're American, you see those things so often, it doesn't necessarily hit you the same way it would hit me. Like I'm like, do you know what I mean? I'm kind of taken off guard, like I don't know what to do. Oh my god. But maybe for you guys, because you see them so often, you're kind of like, you're a bit numb to it. Do you know what I mean? But Jesus Christ, mate, that was an actual strap, like a real one. You know what I mean? Like a real live strap pointing at these people as they're protesting and stuff. And I'm like, God, mate, someone. What's it say? What are you guys saying in the chat? I think the mega hat thing is going to become the new Confederate flag. Okay, cool. Yeah, people are agreeing with that. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it might die. I think the whole reason why that I think that MAGA hat was so like divisive was because of what it represented and who it represented. Right? You wore that. It was sort of you like saying, I love Trump. Like I'm a Trump. You know, like people say, the people that hate Trump have got Trump derangement syndrome. There's also those people who are like, oh, Trump is my daddy, he's the best president in the world, that kind of derangement. So I think when you put the hat on, you obviously, it kind of sends a signal out that you're one of those, like, you know, Trump can do no wrong thing in people. And obviously you might have some very right-leaning political beliefs. But I think once he's out of office, it will stop representing him because it's just a hat that says a slogan on it. You know what I mean? Because inherently the slogan itself doesn't necessarily, it's not offensive, right? The slogan, like "Make America Great Again," isn't that, of course you can read into the semantics of it, but as an actual slogan itself, it doesn't really mean anything. And I think part of the reason why I was so like divisive was because of him and what he represented, the fact that he was rallying up his base and doing all the dog whistling shit and kids in cages and the wall and blah, blah, blah. That's what made that hat like have the power that it has. But once he's out, it's like, it's just a hat. You know what I mean? I'd imagine so. I don't know. What does here say? Towers of Giza says, knowing that some of these artifacts serve guns and Molotov cocktails and bombs, yes, I have a problem with the police walking away. How's walking away protecting or serving their cows? Oh, cool. Yeah, that's true. I guess if you swore to serve and protect, that's one thing, but I don't know, man, considering how volatile the situation was, and again, considering that there was a Love and Island defense behind them, because there was a guy with a gun obviously behind, and I guess Secret Service or whoever that would protect the politicians, that would have been a great thing to do. I don't think they would have left the politicians to their own devices if they didn't know that. Or you know what happened actually? I bet what happened was that, because if you remember, underneath the Capitol building, there's that kind of secret train thing that takes everybody out. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the police officers were basically on their radios and they got told, hey, they basically got told when the politicians were basically safe and in hiding, and then they let everyone go through because they knew by then they weren't going to hurt anybody because everyone was kind of locked up in their bunkers. That might have been a thing as well. And then I guess the shot, she was just unlucky because as they were putting the people down, you know, those guys were still there and it happened to cross paths and boom, they got shot. Because I think she might have been the only person that was shot by a police officer, right? The rest of the people, they died via, if I remember correctly, did they die because of like flashbangs and stuff, flash bombs? I don't know. I don't really know. Who knows? Let's move on. What's the other one? Here we got, yeah, this is hilarious because of who it is. That's why it's hilarious. You got Rudy Giuliani telling people to go and fight. And then I think to myself the other day, like, wasn't this the same, like, and let's play first.
So, let's have trial by combat. So,
wasn't this the same person that was, you know, regardless of what you think of the film, it looked like it was an old guy who required having to sit down in a bed, lay down in order to tuck his shirt in. He was that old, right? He's that old that he can't tuck his shirt in just like standing up like anyone else normally would, open his zip and tuck his shirt in. He has to lie down on the bed and tuck his shirt in. Of course, it was bad angles and timing with the young lady next to his crotch made it look like he was, you know, asking for a favor. But this guy who's unable to tuck his shirt in standing up is telling people to go and fight. Is telling people to go and decide things by combat. Like, what? And again, it's another illustration of just how far people's stars fallen in their desire, like, to kind of cozy up to Trump. And I guess maybe in the legacy wise, it's going to probably hurt him in general because Rudy Giuliani, wasn't he if I'm not mistaken, wasn't he the governor of New York during 9/11? I'm pretty sure he was, isn't it, right? He was beloved, I'm pretty sure. He was like America's mayor or governor, whatever it was. I remember that being a thing. And then suddenly over the last, decade or so, he's just slowly but surely just destroyed his own reputation via this kind of pursuit to be pally with Trump. And look what it's basically resulted in. Not much. Many lawsuits and stuff, and you know, I'm assuming he's still charging Trump by the hour, but his legacy is completely destroyed off the back of this. Like, really, really odd way to go out. Like, I've never really understood that thing. Like, but it must say a lot about Trump as a person that he's has such a magnetic aura that all these people that have like a legitimate reputations, that have done legitimately good things in the world, would be willing to just lay all down in line for him. Like, it's amazing, man. It's amazing. He was alive during Jim Crow. Of course he was. Yeah, he's still alive, man. And his hair dye is leaking out the side of his face. Literally, it's leaking out the side of his face, dripping on the floor as he's talking. God almighty, man. And then, of course, we've got, you know, the cuck of all cucks decided to rally up Trump's base too, Ted Cruz. This guy, man, the same person that Trump insulted his wife, like, do you know what I mean? Said she was ugly. Was it the same guy also that Trump said his dad could have been the Zodiac killer? Was it Ted Cruz or was it somebody else? Do you remember that? Trump said his dad was a Zodiac killer. Say what you want about the guy, but he's a legend, man. He's gonna go down in history, bro. He accused somebody's dad of being the Zodiac killer. Oh my god! But yeah, this is Ted Cruz rallying up the base.
Stand shoulder to shoulder with you as we defend the United States of America, as we defend our Constitution, as we defend our freedom, and we will not go quietly into the night. We will defend liberty into the future, and we are going to win.
He grew a beard and he started talking with his chest a bit more, innit? That's what he did, innit? He looks like a bit of a simp, and then he grew a beard, tried to sound intellectual, sat down with Eric Weinstein and a few other people on a panel, you know, using big words and shit. And in the end, legacy, whatever it was that was left is tarnished completely, because now he's suddenly backing off and, you know, backing off from Trump, basically, throwing him under the bus. But it's too late now, mate. It's too late. It's too late, mister. Oh, yeah. Giuliani has Washington's teeth. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. What's it got here? What's another one here? What do I have? Oh yeah, this is a funny one. We got Lindsey Graham coming, I guess, what Jesus. Okay, so what is he arriving at DC airport? I guess he's leaving DC airport, and he's getting harassed by Trump supporters who are basically calling him out for being a bit of a traitor, which, you know, is makes sense. And if anything, this is probably the best way to deal with these people, the ones who are like, because you know what, I don't know, people, I don't really have an issue with whoever supported him when he was president. It is what it is. You got a job to do. You got to keep the lights on, right? It is what it is. You got to play the political game, but don't try and double back. Don't try and kind of reverse back and try and say you were always telling him he was being a bit extra and kind of, you know, pointing the finger and kind of distancing himself from the guy. No. If you were his boy during the 4 years of chaos, stay his boy until the very end. Don't then try and back away to save whatever political career you think is worth saving, because it's done. The tape doesn't lie. We've got all the evidence of you hanging out with him, busting jerk, enjoying yourself, and now suddenly you want to be everyone else's friend. No. Sod off. So I think this sort of like public shaming thing is a pretty good way to go out for these dudes. This is Lindsey Graham at the airport.
What's up, bro? This is the perfect moment of my life.
Born and raised in South Carolina, and I will make sure I am not going to touch him. I'm not going to do anything. I'm allowed to speak. I am allowed to speak.
Lindsey, you're live on YouTube right now. Can you make a statement to the American people?
You're live on YouTube.
Live on YouTube right now.
Look at him.
Can you make a statement to the American people?
He's getting destroyed. Oh yeah. So embarrassing.
Lindsey, I promise you, but we just want answers.
Nobody's gonna hurt you.
Hey guys, give him space.
Lindsey, please make a statement. You are a representative.
You are going to feel it.
Look at that. Imagine you're just trying to get a flight back home to go see a family or a couple of boy toys, whoever that you like, and look what's happening. He's getting that treatment from Game of Thrones. Shame, as he's kind of, and I guess, you know, I'm assuming airports in America are the same like airports we have here in the UK. They're pretty big. It takes a while to get from one side to the other, so it's a long walk of just pelters and attacks. And it feels like a longer walk, innit? Once you've gone through what he's going through. Someone call him a sex trafficker. What?
Lindsey, can you please make a statement to the American people accounting for your actions? Lindsey, please make a statement to the American people. You are a politician. You are accountable to the people. Make a statement to the people.
Lindsey's not going to talk to you, mate.
Why have you betrayed the American people?
He does not going to talk to you.
You think
Look at him.
that's funny?
Oh.
You think, what's this Animal Farm? You think you're better than us?
Yeah, he does actually. He does think he's better than you. Look at them.
What happened to your oath, Lindsay?
You like little kids?
What about your oath, Lindsay? This is the rest of your life, Lindsay.
Uh-oh.
This is the rest of your life, Lindsay. How's it feel,
Is there a more emasculating name to be even though it's his name? I know, don't get me wrong, but is there a more emasculating name to getting called out on as you're walking out of the airport? Lindsay, right? It just sounds like an insult, doesn't it?
This is the rest of your life. This is how you travel.
He didn't turn his back on the Constitution. He tried to save his career. That's what he did, like every other politician do. They're slimy, spineless creatures. People that no one should ever be listening to outside of the political discourse. They have no backbone, no morals, no ethics, nothing. They will dance to the highest bidder. They'll dance to whoever's in power. That should be the lesson to everybody. They have no backbone, no morals, no nothing. Trump could have given this guy 700 virgins and a mansion on the sky, and he still would have stabbed him in the back. They don't care. They don't care.
You think this is funny? You're laughing right now. This is funny to you?
He's trolling them.
Good job, buddy.
Look at this. Look at this.
Bye, traitor!
Arrest him.
What's up, Mindy? What do you think about what just happened? Villain report we met the other day.
These as well, man. These. Have you met a more uncool group of people in your entire life than people that go and live stream like their days? Like, I know there's not much separation between what I do and what they do because it's all video content, but going around and basically ambulance chasing politicians, right, with your little battery pack on your smartphone and calling them all the names under the sun in an effort to get them to do what you want, right? So if ever there was I've never seen a more ineffective way to get someone to do what you want by harassing them in the streets with your phone in your face, calling them a sex trafficker, telling them to be arrested, and threatening them in a threatening tone, asking them why they're laughing. That's probably the best way to get someone to do what they want, right? To do what you want them to do. Jesus Christ, man. Like, I don't know. I really, really don't know, man. Sometimes I worry. I really do. Okay, what else do we have here? We had Lindsey Graham doing the damn thing. Then we have here police officers taking selfies. Again, what do you think these officers were aware of how fuck the situation was going to get, or were they just like trying to make the best of the situation? I don't know, but again, you can decide. Oh no, this isn't someone taking selfies. This is someone getting hurt. This is the opposite of a selfie. How old do you think that kid is? 18, 19, 25 max maybe? Just imagine your first day on the job. This is maybe like a COVID job, right? They're probably thin on officers at the moment. People are probably quitting, not getting enough hours. And probably the officers that should be doing this don't want to do it because they've got families at home. So the only place in the road to free are for you young chaps. You go and pull up and you're going to go and contest a whole building full of people protesting, and you're being crushed up against a wall with your mouth bleeding, screaming. Look at this, mate. Absolute chaos. Okay, so there was some violence. You know, everyone's saying, oh, they weren't beating up the protesters the same way they were beating up some people, Black Lives Matter. Yeah, I guess. So not to the same extent, but there were some batons out, right? So there were some riot gear out. People were getting punched and kicked. That's good to see. As long as the punch and kicks are evenly distributed, I have no problem with it. I'm not really one to point, oh, black or white thing. No. As long as you punch me the same way you punch him, it's all well and good. I'm all good. Evenly distributed beatings. That's what I'm about. God damn. Do you like any politician that much to get hit over the head this much with a baton? Honestly, even if it's Obama, whoever it was, would you like that guy that much? You're willing to get hit in the head with a baton during an epidemic, during a pandemic, whatever? Would that be what you'd want to do? Jesus Christ, mate. They can absolutely batter. Oh, good old mace for the face. It looks like piss, isn't it, when that mace comes out of the bottle? But Jesus Christ, mate. That does not look like fun. I'm going to tell you that. That does not look like fun. Then we have here. What else do we have? Some cuts of selfies. New footage shows what's looking inside. Okay, so I guess what's this? This is new footage shows what it's like inside the Trump mob at the Capitol. I don't know what this is all about, but let's see this. Boom, 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 bang.
We can take that place. And then do what? Heads on pike.
How did it?
Oh, was that real? I thought that was fake. That's real. I thought that was a skit. Jesus Christ, man. That's what I'm saying. Don't you want to mend the nation? Because these people are, again, they're absolute idiots, right? But they're genuinely annoyed, generally frustrated, generally angry. Like, you need to work together and kind of heal the nation somewhere, innit? Because God almighty, man. Jeez.
We can take that place. And then do what? Heads on pike.
How did a disorganized mob break into what's supposed to be one of the most secure buildings in the world?
What's about to happen?
Secure buildings of the world. Let's relax a little bit as well. Let's relax. There's steps leading up to it. There's a door you can open. Let's chill out. Secure buildings in the world.
What?
I'm pressed.
No, you can't come in. Nobody can come in.
Nobody can come in. Everyone's all coming in.
We followed a group of Trump supporters as they walked into the U.S. Capitol and police officers stood and watched.
Jesus.
Was it planned? I have no idea.
What grown man walks around in full combat gear like this? Unless they're a veteran. I'm assuming some of this stuff is from veterans, right? They've kind of taken or got stuff, whatever. I don't know. But it's so odd, isn't it, to dress up like this? This is equivalent to us UK people dressing up in like, gear from whenever, from Shakespeare times, isn't it? And doing all the on guard shit. That's the same thing. Like, what is this?
We got all day. Tonight, tomorrow.
Who's out? Who's out? USA! USA!
It all started as a peaceful rally around 10 a.m.
I love President Trump. He asked us to come out and support him, and I was glad
Do you think that lady was inside the building? I don't think so.
to do that.
We will never give up. We will never concede. And we're going to the Capitol.
That line is gonna live with him. That's gonna be his legacy, isn't it? Right? That line. And we're going to the Capitol, right? Or before that, we're never gonna concede. We're never gonna give up. We will never concede. We're going to the Capitol. God damn it, you idiot.
And the crowd responded to his request.
Hey, I'll fight with you. I'll fight next to you. I'll keep going. I love you all for being just having the balls to come here. I'll fight with you.
Is that guy's American flag dyed to look like it's old, or is that just an old American flag? Do you think he purposely made that to look like that, or what? And I guess, is that another type of American flag where the stars are like that? What does that represent? Is that some sort of symbolism of a time gone by? Why are the stars in a circle and not how they are in the line?
And so they marched.
Bust the doors down.
Who the hell is that science teacher there in the back? Yo, I say, who's that? Who's he fighting? Is he gonna throw his glasses at them? Stab them with his fleece?
USA!
All these politicians work for us. We pay their salaries. And we pay our taxes.
taxes. And what do we get? Nothing. They don't represent us.
You got
They
that
need to
cool
pay the
T-shirt, bruh.
ultimate price for their crimes. An example needs to be made.
If you're scared of confrontation, do not move forward. Patriots, move forward.
That's a bit of a rhetorical. That's a bit of a triggering question, isn't it? It's a bit of a rhetorical one, isn't it? If you know a patriot, don't move forward. It's like, what? If you don't like chicken, don't move forward. It's like,
This is our chance to show them how serious we are.
Things took an ugly turn in the early afternoon when hundreds of people breached the building.
God damn. I guess so. What's all the scaffolding there? Is that like, are they doing repairs, or is that part of the stuff that was meant to be there for the inauguration? I'm assuming. Is that what is it? I don't know.
Arm 'em! Get the in there! Let's get 'em!
Every single in there is a traitor. Every single one.
Even the janitor, even the cleaner, just not minding their
Police
business.
fired tear gas into the crowd.
I got shot with some kind of clear liquid from all the Gestapo squad. Burns like dude.
Oh, watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out.
Gestapo squad.
But it wasn't enough to stop them.
Oh, epic, mate! That you see that video of that guy that tried to climb up on these things and dropped. This is one of those things that's like oddly looks easy, but unless you've got good core strength, it's very, very difficult. You know what I mean? You probably get up a couple of steps and then you realize, oh shit, what have I let myself in for? Right, where are these guys going?
Stairs is where we need to go.
Do it. Let's do it. They're gonna hit you.
What did they? Do you think they had a plan in place? Like, what did they want to do once they were in there? That's a question I want to know. What was the plan? Cool. You stormed the place. You get inside. Then what? Judging by some of the pictures I've seen with the guys with the zip ties, it seemed like they were hell bent. Some people had a secret plan of maybe taking some of the politicians hostage, demanding certain things, a recount. That seemed like one of the things. If that wasn't the case, what would the average Joe want to do? Just kind of bring awareness to what? Stopping the steal. Like, they didn't think this through at all, man. And then look, half of them are losing their jobs and getting ostracized from their communities. Like, it really wasn't worth it, really, was it?
Come on! This way! This way! This way! This way!
As the mob entered the building, police officers stood and watched.
What are they meant to do? It's like, what? How many of them is there? 6? What do you want these people to do? Protect and serve? Really? Nah, mate, I'll pass.
One woman was shot inside of the Capitol and died. And then police pushed everyone outside.
I heard a really loud bang. We all thought it was like a flashbang or something like that, but a girl got shot. You can see the blood.
Yeah, bro, that's what happens when someone gets shot. They bleed.
That is her blood around that corner.
Do you think this guy's ever thrown a punch in anger? And here he is trying to bring down one of the pillars of American politics because he feels like his guy didn't win.
At least 5 people died, including a police officer. Even after all of the violence and death, some Trump supporters stood proud of what they did.
This is America.
and we're all here to fight for our freedom. It is not their America. It is our America.
Yeah, I was the first person in, Mambo. I was like a first.
What a shit show, innit? What an absolute shit show, mate. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm the only one that feels some sort of sympathy, but I really do, man. I feel bad for the girl that died, the people involved. It's just like, God almighty. I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel bad for everyone involved. I really do. I think they went out there with like the best of intentions. They really wanted to change things, and essentially they all got kind of let down, innit? And they all kind of got let down. That's basically what happened. That's what I think anyway. But hey, what do I know? What else is on here? Oh, we got this we got one of these absolute donuts. West Virginia delegate Derek Evans is taken into federal custody by FBI agents for participating on the steal, or I guess the storming of the Capitol building, and his mum decided to come out with grandma and try to fight his case. That's him being led out from his house. Imagine that after all this happening, you got all these SUVs from FBI agents pulling up into your house, and you get escorted in the back of a car. That's some heavy shit. Look at what's she doing? Get back inside the house, you idiot.
I know you gotta do your job. That's my grandbaby.
Anything you want to say on his behalf?
He's a fine man. And thank you, Mr. Trump, for inviting a riot at the White House.
And you're his grandmother?
I'm his grandmother.
So all my sympathy that I have for his people has gone out the window, because she gives me the impression. So she just said there, "Thank you, Trump." So even though after everything's happened, 5 people died. Her son is potentially going away for prison for a very long time. He may be the main breadwinner in the household, right? So her whole family is going to be destroyed off the back of this. She's still thanking the president for inciting the riot that led to her son's arrest, or to her grandson's arrest. That is legitimately the most insane thing I've heard today. And it's maybe re-question where my sympathies lie with these people. So they honestly think it was a good thing. They thought, what did they get out of this? Like, I don't understand what they got. Yeah, they got some press coverage. They might have upset the ranks. They threw CNN into a tizzy. But ultimately, they're paying the biggest price. Losing their jobs. Getting kicked out of their, social circles, or even maybe ostracized from their social groups. Ostracized from their families. Maybe losing, their freedom. It's like, huh? Jesus Christ. I got my grandbabies in there. Those are legit FBI agents pulling up to a crib to arrest her grandson. Oh my God. These people are lost, man. These people are lost. No hope. It's legitimately no hope for them. Thank you, Trump, Thank you, Trump. Like, what? They are the best. I swear to God, exactly. They are the best. I swear to God, they're saying. I'm legitimately lost for words. All this time I had this sympathy thinking, like, cool, innit? They're like, oh, Trump radicalized my son, da-da-da-da-da. But no, they're legitimately thinking this is a good thing. Like, you gave him the fire he needed to get out there and, I don't know, what? Oh, God almighty. Then we got here another one. What's this one? This is supposedly meant to be a MAGA mob versus Associated Press. So I guess the mob via photographer. Let's see how that ends up. It's getting ragdolled, isn't it? Look at these people, man. Look at them. Just look at these people. Like, look at their faces, the way they carry their bodies, the way they look, the proportion of their faces, the pudginess, the puffiness. the flimsiness of their sunglasses and everything that's on them. They don't look like they're up for anything. You look like you push them in a supermarket and they'll break their backs. And here they are trying to, you know, shake up politics. Like, huh? Sometimes, honestly, sometimes I think to myself, these people, like the ones that like say the like, it's like what's that adage? If you wanna like change the world, start by sweeping your front garden first, right? And the whole idea is if you sweep your front garden, your neighbor will see you doing it, and then they will kind of copy, you know, the good things that you're doing. But don't go around sweeping other people's front garden when yours is a mess. And this is exactly it. It's like some of these people have, you know, they've probably got a lot of more worries to, you know, be concentrating on than who is the next president of the United States, because it's not going to impact their regular day-to-day lives really. There's that pre-dyed flag at the back there, that Daniel Arsham designed flag, distressed. Look at these absolute weapons. Oh, that's a photographer there running for his life, right? Is that a red camera or something? He's got something pricey. He looks like he's, you know what he looks like? This is his own fault. The photographer looks like that guy that rocks up to football training or basketball, wherever you play, and has got all the gear on, right? Whenever that dude pulled up in whenever we used to play football, that would be the first person someone wanted to nuts. That'd be the first person someone wanted to embarrass, because he just, you know, he looked too shiny. You know what I mean? You're too shiny, brother. So that's what he basically looks like. He's got like a great helmet on with an amazing face mask. He's got a bag that looks like it came from some sort of Japanese, you know, techwear company. He's got a great bomber jacket. He just looks like a prime target. He should have just rocked up there with a smartphone with a battery pack like everybody else, innit? I think he would have been left alone. Oh shit. It's a lot. It's getting pulled apart. Calm down. But I wonder why they talk. Why look at this man's dad. Look, scrunchy face. I wonder why they're targeting him. What do they think he's what they say? What's that term they use for people that they think? Not a psyop. What is it, man? It's a term that people use online. I wonder what the bad. Yeah, I wonder why they picked him out to be the one to kind of pull out. I wonder. Oh look, they got the "Don't Tread on Me" flag. Sweet. It's getting pushed out. It's getting pushed out. Okay, get out. He's leaving. What the fuck is this? I remember this happening to me once at a nightclub. You're getting pushed out. And then you're like, I'm leaving. And then they push you again. You're like, shit, how far do you want me to go? Do you want me going to push me all the way home? Holy shit. Holy shit, look at his leg up in the air. Oh, you're probably wondering how I got here, right? That's like one of them going. Oh. Do you think any of those cameras work still? Holy shit. They're still hurting. They're still attacking him. Okay, cool. They left him alone finally. He got pushed all the way over to all the way over to the other side of the wall. Are you Antifa? Oh. Are you? What kind of questions do you Antifa? No, I'm not. And then you just carry on doing what you're doing. Why would you ask somebody that? As if they're gonna admit it. Oh, I guess that's why they pushed him out, because he's dressed in all black. They assumed he was Antifa, and you know, Trump people don't like Antifa, which is funny, isn't it? Oh, are you Antifa?
Come on, are you Come on, we'll walk you out. Let's go.
They're in the war zone somewhere, walk you out. It's like, see, that's what he should have done. He should have brought that. He should have brought a little GoPro stick and a smartphone. You've been left alone. He came in too prepared. He brought his flipping, you know, his helmet he bought from a Kickstarter. And look, you see, look, I told you he's got an expensive jacket on. Isn't that what's that thing called? Architects, Arc'teryx, whatever that brand is. He's got a jacket that's probably like a couple of grand, a really trendy face mask, and SLR's coming out of his bumhole. He fucked himself over. He should have just brought a smartphone and a little GoPro stick, and you would have been fine.
Come with me. gonna push you over. I'm gonna help. Let him out. Let's go. Come on. Let him out. Let him out. Let him out.
He got pushed out. Bro, they pushed him out of the entire dance. Just like, that was intense. Oh, that was intense. That was impressive security. I'm not gonna be honest. Impressive security. Impressive. Oh my god. I swear to God. That should be expensive to kids. Yeah, exactly. These what? Tech kids in the valley. Really? Okay, yeah. It's like, imagine turning up to a protest and wearing that kind of stuff. Honestly, I don't know, man. I don't know. It really couldn't be me, man. It really couldn't be me. You know, it would have been funny if they would have realized what his jacket was worth and took it off and took off his helmet and just left him with his cameras. That would have been hilarious. Oh, mate. Oh yeah, this is sick. So this is an interview with that guy, right? The guy that's dressed up like a human bear, and he's a piece of. If ever you ain't an accurate representation of why people think Americans are a bit, this is the guy. This is your dude.
Hey man, can I get your thoughts? Sure.
You see him? That is the person you want your sister to bring home. That is the prize of the dance.
What do you have to say to those people who already accepted Biden as president?
All I have to say to people that already accepted Biden.
Also, why is it that most people that wear MAGA hats have no chins? Like he looks like he can't do a single push-up. Is that just me, or am I just reading into it too much? Why is it?
Him as president is that you are choosing to be a victim of what is called neuro-linguistic programming.
Is that like his real voice? Neuro-linguistic programming. So is that him trying to sound like gruff? It's a thing, and bruv, clear your throat, man. You're not auditioning for Vikings.
It is a MK Ultra psychological warfare technique where they combine frequencies that affect the brain with propaganda and trigger words to get people to be what is called compartmentalized into a propagandized perspective of reality.
Look at that sentence. Compartmentalized and propagandist conspiracy. Bruv, put down the thesaurus, stop watching BitChute videos, and go look after your family.
They control. It's mass mind control. That way they can gear the populations for warfare. It's based on MK Ultra stuff that we got from Operation Paperclip with the Nazis.
So what is this? So let's say all that stuff is right? Let's say that copy pasta was, coherent. So this is how you're fighting against it. Dressing up in that garb, covered in tattoos that you printed off flipping Google Images. Come on.
And who? Do you think the Clintons are in on it?
Okay, the Clintons are a part of the cabal. You see, the military-industrial complex is divided into two factions. One faction is known as the cabal. That's the Satanists and the communists, the fascists, okay? The other side is the alliance. Those are the patriots in our republic, the people that believe in the Constitution.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, but come on, bruv. Who's listening to this shit? Like, how much Adderall has this guy done before he took this interview? Or before he head out of his home? Does he pay his bills on time? Does he have a flipping bed? Or do you think he sleeps on the floor? Like, there's so many questions out here, right? And he's telling you about bloody cabals and deep states and shit. Like, what knowledge of these things would you have in your brain that I couldn't get myself from a couple of Google clicks? That I need to listen to you? Really? Come on.
Believe in freedom, believe in God. Okay? So these two warring factions have been going at it for quite some time. Hillary Clinton is a part of the cabal.
Now, I know the first reaction I'm going to get from that is, what are your sources? Or just in general.
Okay, when it comes to Hillary Clinton, all you have to do is look into the emails. And
okay, so I go on Google and search for Hillary Clinton's emails. Then what do I do?
The way that she's involved in spirit cooking with Marina Abramovic, who's a known satanic witch.
So Maria Abramovich, the woman that sat still in an art gallery and let Jay-Z rap in her face, I should go and email her and ask her about Hillary's emails.
Hillary Clinton is a satanic witch, okay? All you have to do is say the word frazzle drip.
All right, cool. Next time I see Hillary Clinton at a book signing, if I shout out frazzle drip and she shakes, I'll know she's a devil.
Okay, people don't want to look it up because it's so disgusting.
Oh yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Frazzle drip. Frazzle drip.
I'll tell you what's disgusting. Your fucking face.
What is that?
I really don't want to talk about it because it's so disgusting.
Well, frazzle drip, pedestrian
Frazzle drip. Is that like a DJ at Burgoyne?
emails, right? You were talking about
Clinton emails, and the Clinton emails, because keep in mind, there were Clinton emails that got exposed too. And in some of these emails, she's talking about going to torture night and bringing a hammer. She's talking about things like going to.
What does that mean? Is does going to torture night and bring a hammer? Does that? I'm not gonna go there.
Spirit cooking events with John Podesta and with Marina Abramovic, who is a known satanic witch.
I'm just so impressed and flabbergasted.
Look at their two faces. He wants to get on his knees and suck him off. He's feeling almighty and powerful because he remembered all the shit he read on 4chan. Like, think about it. What grown man with actual bills to pay, things to do, sits at home on their knees with a bit of cardboard paper and draws "Hold the line, Patriot, God wins," and decides, you know what? Let's change up Patriots and let's put black and red ink. The P goes red, the A goes black, the T goes red, and then decides, and then that outfit too. Do you think that outfit is a coincidence, or do you think he wears that regularly? What do you reckon? He's probably an actor of some sort. I bet you. I bet he is some sort of. I bet he has some sort of media personality. I bet he was. He tried to audition for some sort of reality TV show. I bet he's got like a list of those kind of things. Auditioning for that shitty TV show, that shitty TV show, and then he suddenly found himself in this sort of performative, deep state role that he's doing now, right? And don't be surprised if he doesn't get arrested, because obviously I guess he was in the Capitol building. He's probably going to end up on all the same, silly podcast shows that you see on YouTube and shit, talking about, holding the line and exposing the corruptness in politics. Like, God almighty, man. Absolute donuts. I don't know. Look at him. Look at his face. Look at him. Look how happy he is. Viking guy likes me. Viking guy's so smart.
All the details you're remembering. One final question is, do you accept the results of the Arizona elections, of the ballots?
Well, not all the ballots are counted here in Arizona according to the narrative, and the fact of the matter is, no, I do not accept whatever it is that these people. They tried to call Arizona with 75% of the votes called. That's Fox News, okay? That's fake Fox News.
Why do you think they would push for that?
This is psychological warfare techniques. Okay, look into Operation Paperclip, okay? And then look into Operation Mockingbird, okay? Operation Paperclip is where we procured over 1,500 Nazi scientists and doctors and brought them into our highest levels of the space program, of the intelligence community, which means
if you watch The Americans, you'll know this too. This is, this should be standard information. I don't know why this. What does this prove?
CIA, the political establishment.
You're telling me there might be some political collusion and favors and things done behind the scenes that we're not aware of? Come on.
Okay, and in the process, they infiltrated our nation, and they're trying to bring it down from within. They
didn't infiltrate the nation. American politicians opened the door and told them to come in.
To take over the industrial power that is the United States, okay? And they did so successfully for quite some time until Donald Trump took office.
There we go. That's what you're waiting for. The savior came through. So you're telling me before things went to shit, Trump decided to, get up off of his golden sofa and save everybody. Yeah, that's what you're telling me. Is that what you're telling me? Really?
JFK tried to take it from him, okay, and so did Eisenhower when he threatened to storm Area 51 if they didn't tell him what the hell was going on, okay? And ever since then, the alliance has been fighting with the cabal, okay? And they killed JFK just like they perpetrated 9/11, just like they perpetrated COVID in 1984, just like they perpetrated this voter fraud shit.
I like that, COVID 1984. That's a clever one.
Okay.
Look at all these dorks with their flipping iPhone rigs. Honestly, this is one of the most dorkiest things I've ever seen in my entire life. grown adults leaving their homes and their families, because a lot of people have kids, right? Americans aren't like us Brits. They pop out the babies, quickly, especially if you're from a small town. There's not many options. You're a woman, you got to push them out quickly. They've probably got a bunch of kids or a family member they're looking after, but here they are strapped with the flipping selfie stick and a smartphone that looks like a tablet linked up to a battery pack, recording, live streaming what? People standing around buildings? Ooh. Like, what is this? Isn't there better use of your time than going around standing outside public buildings, recording people arguing about deep state? Like, really? Is this how you spend your time? But again, maybe this is I'm going to stop it there because I can't bother to listen to this guy. He's making my brain melt. But this might be this might be the consequence of having people deal with COVID in lockdown and having nothing to do, and essentially being told to stay in place for an unspecified period of time. Because who's dealing with COVID well now? What, people in Southeast Asia? People in the Eurasia? Like, who else is dealing with it well? No one, in it, for the most part. Most parts of North America, Central America, South America, for the most part, aren't really dealing with that well. Southeast Asia is doing okay. Central Europe is struggling. Western Europe, where I'm at, is struggling. No one's really dealing with it. Scandinavia is obviously going through a bit of a shit time. So, essentially, all these people who will be on the internet, or I don't know, busying themselves with their everyday jobs, aren't doing that. So it makes sense that they're going to be out there in the streets recording themselves shouting about politics, isn't it? It might make some sense. I don't know, man. I have no idea. But yeah, this is, these guys are, I don't know. Yeah, I have brain damage. Exactly. I have brain damage. Head to toe National Geographic drip. Exactly. I just can't believe that else like this. Yep, I'm losing faith in humanity. It's clearly the beginnings of a mental illness, low-key mania. Exactly. It is, isn't it? It is a sign of, it must be a sign of mental illness, because honestly, I swear to God, it's not even a thing of like saying, oh, I spend my time wisely than others. It's not about that. It's just, I'm just thinking, most people are struggling during COVID, right? I know I have been, right? It's been a flipping shit show of a situation. We're approaching a year, and now we have this news in the UK where supposedly in London, 1 in 30 people might have COVID, and we're dealing with it horribly here. There's a new strain. It's now spreading across the southeast of England and now going into the Midlands. Horrible situation. We're probably going to be in this shit for another year at least. I've already made my prediction. We're going to go back to normal, at the start of next year, 2022. So I know everyone's going through tough shit. I just would imagine, right, that all through this time, the last thing I want to be doing is that. Like, there's other things I would like to do. Go to a restaurant, go to a club, or go to watch football, go to an art gallery. Like, loads of things I'd love to do. But the thing that's, what's on the very bottom of my list? Going and hanging around with flipping political spurgs and standing there with a flipping smartphone, recording myself on what? Facebook? Live streaming it directly to your Facebook fans? Really? That's how you want to spend your days? Especially during these tough times, that's how you want to spend your time? Really? All right, man. All bloody right. God almighty, these people. But yeah, let's move on. Oh yeah, this is a good one. Oh, this is the best one, isn't it? This guy falling down. I shouldn't laugh really, but this is the best. It's hilarious, man. Look at this. Because I said before, right? This sort of thing is deceptively inviting. Because it looks like it looks like anyone could do it. Because I've done it before. When you go, what it reminds me of? When you go to parks and you got those kind of fitness-free center bits, and they've got like a climbing wall. Sometimes you're hanging out with your friends, I don't know, fucking around. You might be with your friend's kid. You might be, I don't know, you're just in a park, you're hanging around. And then you just, you thought, let me climb up this quickly. And you start climbing, you realize, oh, this is a bit harder than I imagined it to be. That's what that wall is. Right, and obviously in the on the climbing wall in the park, there's no risk there. You just jump back down. It's not a big hassle. But on this, you've got the adrenaline of the protest happening, and then you're obviously trying to get up there because you want to go and stick it to the man. So you're really revved up to go. And then imagine it transpires like this. The reach out. You know what what makes it better? It's the reach out. It's the guy reaching up, like, you know, because at that moment, more often than not, I'm assuming at that moment that person already knew they were going to give up, right? They were just kind of performing at the end. But it's the guy kind of like, you know, he was actually hopeful of actually taking that person up, because still, how are you going to help them up in that way anyway? It's pretty hard unless somebody's anchoring him on the other side. So it was all bound to fail. But it's just the hope that kills you, isn't it? One more time. Look, he's a good friend or a good civilian, a good Samaritan. He reaches out over and is like, "Hey guy, I got you, man. I got you." No, you don't, man. He doesn't have you have himself. Oof. That's at least a flaw. Look at the guy there looking at him. Oh shit, I think he's dead. Legitimately one of the funniest things I've seen, man. I honestly do think it's legitimately one of the funny things I've seen. Because honestly, I've been there. I know what it is like when you're like climbing something. No, you think you could climb something, you get up there, you're like, whoa, this is a lot harder than I assumed. But it's too late. You're already there, innit? Like, there's nothing else you could do. You can't turn back. Oh, my chest, man. My absolute chest. Absolute legends. All of them. Whoa. Absolute legends. Oh. But yeah, let's move on from that one. Oh, I'm even sweating. Anyway, let's move on. Where is it? Oh, this is a good one. This is a funny one. So I'm assuming most people have seen. Have you guys seen that video of that girl they're calling Soho Karen, that basically tried to that allegedly lost her phone in an Uber, and then she saw a little black kid in a hotel holding a phone that looked like hers, went over and again assaulted the kid, and it all spun into this whole big issue where effectively people are saying that she was racially profiling the dude and la 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 la. Well, the funny thing about this Karen girl is her interview that she did with Gail. Let me see if I can get this up here. Where is it? Cool. So this is it, right? Yeah, is that it? Yeah, this is it. So this is a story. Let me see if I can get the original one up here. Lindsey Graham, Capital Writers. Where is it? So is that it? CBS. Yeah, this is okay. So this is it from TMZ. So TMZ here reporting Soho Karen arrested over cell phone attack makes first court appearance. So she's been arrested, right? This woman, she's been arrested. You know, kind of push this a bit forward. But let's go to the actual video. So she sat down with an interview with Gayle King to basically trying to rewrite the narrative, maybe, I guess, in some respects. A bit odd. I don't know, whatever in it. But here, look at the interview with CBS this morning. Absolutely epic. Oh, this girl's a flipping legend. Absolute legend. She got in history.
The woman caught on camera physically attacking a black teenager and falsely accusing him of stealing her cell phone has been arrested in California. It happened last night. You might remember this video. Mia Ponsetto approached 14-year-old Keon Harold Jr. at a New York City hotel last month, accusing him of stealing her phone. His father, jazz musician Keon Harold, recorded the encounter and accused Ponsetto of racial profiling.
Now, to be fair, I don't think they're telling us the entire story, because from what I remember reading, she was supposedly in an Uber of the dad of the kid, right? And then I'm guessing she lost her phone somewhere along the journey, and then she thought that she lost it in that guy's Uber. She somehow, I guess, finds him. Maybe the car's still there and he's maybe taking his son to go do some shopping. Whatever happens, just transpire, they cross paths again, and then she's confronting him saying, "Hey, have you seen my phone?" He's like, "No, I don't have your phone. It's not in there. We don't have it. Then obviously the son's there. She sees the phone and then puts two and two together and just starts freaking out. That's what they're saying. But I don't know if that's a full story. I don't know if the kid was in the car as well. You know, some people, like some Uber drivers, they might bring their kids with them or their wives. I don't know. I've been sometimes to some Ubers where, you know, they're just, you know, I don't know, the wife is brought at home. She doesn't mind just sitting in the car with her husband as he's driving around. So that might be the thing. So she might have thought, oh no, he was in the car too. He definitely would have saw it. I'm not too sure, but there are definitely pieces of the story that are missing. But regardless, anyway, the lows involved. Actually involved this lady herself in it, because she's absolutely unhinged.
We have you see two black people.
No, I'm not letting him walk away with my phone.
Now, the video shows Ponsetto trying to stop the teenager from leaving the hotel lobby and then rushing toward them. Hotel surveillance video shows the 22-year-old woman tackling Keon Jr. Now, he never had the phone. It turned up several minutes later at the hotel. New York City detectives went to California.
So it turned up in the hotel. I don't know what happened then. So who found the phone? Did someone find it on the floor and hand it into the hotel? I don't know.
Yesterday to coordinate Ponsetto's arrest in connection with the confrontation.
Look at her.
She was contacted at a traffic stop in Ventura County near Los Angeles. Officials say that police had to pull her out of the car when she refused to get out. Now, in an exclusive interview, we had just done that interview yesterday afternoon. Her lawyer spoke with us before she was arrested. They told us that NYPD had not yet contacted them.
Mia, help me understand. What made you think that Keon had your phone? That's why I'm confused. Why did you think he had it?
I was approaching the people that had been exiting the hotel because in my mind, anybody exiting is probably the one that might be the one that is trying to steal my phone.
Oh, okay. So I don't know what the Uber story was about. I heard a story about an Uber. So she was in a hotel. I'm assuming in the lobby, maybe browsing on her phone, and somehow between her and leaving, she dropped it somewhere, and then she assumed whoever was okay. That makes it worse then, because then she the first person she stopped was a little black kid. You're a psychopath.
I admit, yes,
this
I
makes
could have
it much
approached the
worse.
situation differently, or maybe not yelled at him like that and made him feel.
And look at the optics too, right? You got Gayle King here, who, I guess last year summer or prior to pandemic, she didn't have the best reputation, right? People didn't like that she asked that question about Kobe Bryant's alleged rape to the WNBA player, right? Do you remember? So she's not in everyone's good books. And then you got this woman who's like, you can't say white privilege because she's obviously not white, but she's clearly suffering from some sort of privilege syndrome or something, right? Look at the optics. Look at her glasses. Look at her upkept hair, the daddy hat, like the lack of makeup. Like, come on.
Maybe some sort of inferior way, making him feel as if I was like hurting his feelings, because that's not my intention. I consider myself to be super sweet. I really never
super sweet. Okay, cool.
ever meant.
I can't wait to see those hoodies actually. Super sweet and super sweet hats. Super sweet. Whenever someone refers to himself as something like that, like something so like lacking of substance and lacking of depth, information, brevity, whatever it may be, right? You have to sometimes chuckle at yourself. Super sweet. I'm really who's that basketball player? I'm a really fun guy. Like, what? Super sweet.
For it to like hurt him or his father either.
Are you saying that you were stopping everybody in the lobby, asking them about your phone? Is that what you're saying?
This is the question.
Not everyone, just the
just the blacks.
Just the people that in the meantime, while the hotel manager was checking the footage, I just wanted to do my part as best as I could
and make sure no blacks leave the hotel room. Like, this girl is legitimately the most insane person I've seen in my life. Not everybody, just the blacks.
You just described yourself as super sweet. I know you've seen the video. When you look at the video, the reaction seems very extreme. It doesn't seem like it's someone who's...
Look at her eyebrows. Like, is that, what do you think that is? Is that speed? Adderall? What is that? She is wired. I get, don't get me wrong. When you lose your phone, you do go into a bit of a fight or flight situation, right? You start panicking, especially the first time. I think once you lose it, like, I say the first time because I've lost my phone many times. I've got like my screen, I don't know if you can see it on here, but my screen on my phone is cracked beyond belief, right? So I lose my phone. I've lost it on a continuous basis. I've not lost it in a while, but it happened a few times. But when the first time you ever lose your phone, especially a smartphone that you've paid for, even if it's on contract, your heart starts to beat, right? Like, you start looking around, you start asking everybody running around. But after the first time, you start to realize that more likely than not, if you've lost it, it's very unlikely someone's going to hand it back to you, right? It's gone, it's finished, it's out there. Especially if you don't have a passcode and you don't have Find My iPhone, it's gone, it's disappeared. It is what it is. You chalk up to the game. Or if someone is going to hand it over to you, all that's running around and frantic, fretting and making everyone else panic. 'Cause that's what I don't like also, when people like lose something or they're in a state of bother, they then somehow come over to you for you to kind of help them out. It's like, no, leave me alone. I don't want to have your funk. Like, find it yourself. Like, leave me alone. So that can be a thing as well. And usually I've found the more calm you are, the more able you are to retrace your steps. There might be the option, or there might be an option where you can actually find it yourself. You might actually be like, oh shit, I was in the off license around the corner. Oh, I was in that shop. Oh, damn, I was in that gas station. Then you walk and blam, you find it. But all this frantic, running around the hotel lobby, pulling random black kids off of the street and accusing them of stealing your phone isn't going to work, mate. I guarantee you.
Super sweet.
How would you feel if you were alone in New York and
Get the
you're
violin
wanting
out.
to spend time with your family during the holidays, and you lose the one thing that gets stolen from you that has all of the access to the only way that you're able to get back?
How do you feel? I don't know. I'll tell you to maybe look after your phone.
I just don't think I would randomly attack people, is what I'm saying to you.
How would you feel if an undescript young black kid took your phone, but you have no way of telling them apart because to you they all look the same? Like, what the hell is she saying?
I know you said you could have handled it better, but I just don't think I would randomly attack people in the manner in which
Look
you
at her
did.
face.
What do you think when you look at that video? You're standing there in your leggings and your flip-flops, and it
Super
looks
sweet.
like you're just going nuts, for lack of a better word.
No, I'm not letting him walk away with my phone. I don't feel that that is who I am as a person. I don't feel like this one mistake does define me, but I do sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, apologize that if I made the son feel as if I...
That's a typical YouTuber apology. I apologize if you felt offended, if I made you feel this way. I love that apology. It's such a non-apology. I apologize if I made you feel that way, if you got upset, if you felt like I was, reminding your dad of a time gone by. Like,
I assaulted him, or if I hurt his feelings or the father's feelings.
I don't believe one mistake defines anybody, but I think...
Yeah, Gail would say that, wouldn't she, eh?
When I look at that particular video, you did more than just accuse him. The video seems to show that you physically attacked this young boy.
She's lucky this kid is like a bit of a geek, right? His dad's a saxophone player or whatever, jazz musician. So he's probably brought up in a fairly decent household, right? Good morals, good ethics, well-mannered kid. If this was anybody else, she would have got her head kicked in, right? She would have got stomped to the ground. And then you know what would have happened? The black kid would have got arrested and he would have been the aggressor. And it would have been turned into a whole different story. The whole fact that this story is even being played out in public like this is because their family are pretty well to do and they want the girl to be brought up. They want the girl to basically face some sort of consequences, right? But imagine if this was just a regular kid that you see on like Warsaw Hip Hop. This is in New York as well, right? So this is not even, I'm not even saying that to be like, crass, but imagine this was like a regular kid of Warsaw Hip Hop. Like those kids that were doing wheelies in the middle of the street and they smashed up somebody's Mercedes recently. Imagine if it was one of them that she was grabbing up. She would have got a bike thrown on top of her head, mate.
You do see that too, right?
But at the end of the day, the dad did end up like slamming me to the ground and pulling my hair and throwing me and dragging me across the ground. So
that's a typical like white woman way of describing a physical incident. Whenever somebody breaks down a physical altercation like that, they pushed me to the ground and dragged me by my hair. And then like that's when you know they're telling lies, because they're basically breaking down every segment of an altercation into its own little scene. So you know when you're like tussling with somebody, you're pushing and pulling them, you might push and pull their jacket and accidentally grab their hair, but then they're gonna break it down into the 3 phases, or into the 4 or 5 phases. You grabbed onto my shoulder, you shook me vociferously, you then pulled the back of my head until my scalp was bleeding. You know, those kind of like really odd descriptive words to make it sound so much threatening than what it is. Like, that's proper victim talk.
I will say that.
Yeah, but I think, the video we saw, it looked like you had just attacked his son.
Yeah, the footage.
Exactly. Okay, cool. Look.
Shows me attacking his son. Attacking him how? Yelling at him? Yes. Okay, I apologize. Can we move on?
I know you're saying I don't need to, I just want to apologize, but I do think that there should be some context to your actions that day.
Okay, so basically, I'm I'm a 22-year-old girl. Racism how is one girl?
That's very Jordan Woods-ish, right? Whenever I hear people mention their age, it reminds me of that Jordan Wood Red Table Talk, right? I'm young, it's LA, I'm just vibing. Like, it's that kind of like, come on, guys. It's like when you can't find the words to describe what you're trying to say, you're just filling it with these like it's like, no, use your words, motherfucker. Do you know what I mean? You push this foot when you're a kid on the floor because you thought you had your iPhone 6. Like, fess up, what happened?
Girl accusing a guy.
I was surprised, right, in this incident that she didn't say, hello, I love Drake. Like, that's what I was waiting for her to say. I was surprised she didn't say something like that. Guys, it's not about a race. It's like, my favorite artist is Ja Rule. Like, or something.
About a phone.
Free Casanova.
Crime. Where is the context in that?
Mia,
what is the deeper
Mia,
story
it's
here?
not. That's not the problem. You have to at least understand your actions that day. You seem to have attacked this little boy, this young boy, this teenager. You seem to have attacked this teenager about the phone, and then it turned out he didn't even have your phone. That's the thing. I mean, you're saying, look, I'm 22 years old. You're 22 years old, but you are old enough to know better. So I will say you're 22. I get it.
Enough. The hotel did.
Imagine. Look, don't get me wrong. I'm not Gayle King's biggest fan in the world, but imagine a big woman like Gayle King getting enoughed. Imagine.
You are old enough to know better. So I will say you're 22. I get it.
Enough.
Jesus Christ. This is like the mirror. It's like the mirror contrast, isn't it, of the two kids, how they brought up. The 14-year-old kid is essentially his dad's dealing with the entire thing. I don't think I've heard the kid talk once to press. I think his dad's dealing with it all through TMZ and, suing and filing charges with the police, blah, 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 blah. Dealing with it the proper way. Then you've got this girl sitting alongside her lawyer, no parents, right? No family members are stepping up and basically defending her. She's basically on her own, and she's like showing everybody how poorly she was brought up, innit? Basically, that's what you kind of feel sad about Luke, because supposedly she's 22 and she looks much older. She's got a very self-entitled view of the world, and just thinks that she can flirt through the world without accepting any sense of responsibility at all. And now finally reality is sort of like hit her in the face. Do you know what I mean?
The hotel did have my phone. The hotel did end up having my phone. I did get my belongings returned to me.
All right.
Oh, wow. What a legend, isn't it? What a legend. Honestly, what an absolute legend of a young lady. The things people do for their iPhones, isn't it? The things people do for their iPhones. I don't know. Like, God bless them all. I'm just a girl that's saying I'm racist. Oh. Imagine using that as an excuse. I'm a girl. Anyway, I need to get a napkin. Bear with me. Oh, God. Oh, mate. Imagine using I'm a girl as an excuse. Just imagine. That's the excuse you want to use. I'm a lady. I have lady parts. Like, what? What the hell are you talking about, young lady? But her life looks like it's going to be ruined anyway for the most part. It seems like, for that little mistaken error that she made. A little bit of a silly Billy there. Let me see, where can I find it? Yeah, so that's the update, right? This is from TMZ. Soho Karen arrest over cell phone attack makes first court appearance. Look at that. Mia has just made her first court appearance, so I guess that's her in a Zoom in the court. Just made her first Zoom appearance via the Ventura County Court before a judge via Zoom. Mia denied racially profiling Kenyon Jr. in an interview with Gayle King. Hours before her arrest, interview was so tense that at one point Mia essentially told Gail to shut it. Mia says she admits to have been approached by the situation differently and maybe not yelled at him like that, and maybe made him feel some sort of inferior way and making him feel as if I was hurting his feelings. Legendary, absolute legend of a girl. Look at her. Look at this doofus. That's her mugshot. But again, is it even worth going over how you should deal with a situation like this? Like, I think most sensible people know how to deal with a situation like this, isn't it? But honestly, I'm of the belief, if you lose your phone, usually you lose your phone, it's your own carelessness, it's your own recklessness. I know for me, that's happened to me, right? If I lose my phone, I've usually lost it because I'm too fucked up or whatever I'm doing, or just being careless. If you can't retrace your steps and find it, don't then busy other people and destroy their day by trying to figure out where your phone is. Just accept the L, and next time don't be a careless person, and you won't lose your phone, because they're expensive mistakes to make. You won't make them a lot. You can lose your keys quite often, you can lose your wallet, but your phone, you won't lose it more than 5 times because it costs a lot of money. Even if you're on contract, you're still having to pay for the, what's that thing called? We have to pay for the insurance, whatever it is, right? Or the difference. So it's not cheap, it's not free. So you're definitely going to learn your lesson somewhere along the line. But like, really, this is the issue that you want to cause people with because you lost your phone during Christmas, your one device. And then again, like I said, it's interesting too that none of her family have stepped up. No one from her family have come forward and said anything. They've all kind of left her. So you definitely can tell she's an absolute nightmare behind the scenes as well, isn't it? Oh, God almighty, mate. Absolutely gosh. Okay, let's check the chat, see what you guys are saying. Yeah, I'm just a girl. Girls aren't racist. It's funny. Someone please get her out of here. This woman reeks of Karen for sure. She's an action McGill. What Joey Diaz says here. The most I got out of the situation is that someone out there still plays jazz. Yeah, it's fair enough. That's true. Daddy Cap. Yeah, exactly. She's cray. Oh, mate. She is an absolute legend. She is. Of course, we've got the Graham thing. We spoke about that already. What else we have here? Oh, yeah. So this is the one, isn't it? So do you remember when I said I wondered what did I say? Yeah, I said earlier that I was unsure as to why these guys were storming the Capitol building. Like, what was the end goal, right? Like, what was the actual plan? What did they have in mind? And according to this article on TMZ, they were attempting to kidnap people. That was the plan. They were attempting to hold people hostage. So this is the article from Kidnap. It says Capitol rioters, zip ties in hand, suggest nefarious plan, kidnapping hostages, question mark. Look at this guy. He's decked. And again, he looks far more mobile and tactically adept than the people you saw outdoors. So he's definitely got some sort of training in him. He's got those zip ties that people use in movies when they're tying people up, and I'm assuming they're using them in combat in some sort. And he's dressed, in a way that you would assume he'd want no one to identify him. I'm sure all that stuff has probably been burned by now, right? They're probably going to find it in a ditch somewhere covered in charcoal, but that's pretty scary, isn't it? They wanted to tie up dear old Nancy Pelosi and all these other folk and do what? Hold them to ransom until they decide to put Trump in office or give him another 4 years. Madness, isn't it? It says here the storming of the US Capitol office was shocking, but photos of the pro-Trump insurrectionists holding a bunch of zip ties handcuffs show that they might have planned to do much worse. There were reports on Wednesday some of the insurrectionists were prepared to occupy the Capitol throughout the night. The zip ties pics suggest that they were prepared to hold people, perhaps congressional leaders, against their will. Yeah, look at them. Absolute weapons, a lot of them, innit? At least 2 different men were seen holding zip ties, commonly used as disposable handcuffs, inside the US State Senator's chamber after members of the Congress were forced to flee due to the security breach. On top of this, we already know many members of the mob that invaded the Capitol were armed, willing to burst into the office and take whatever they wanted, and someone even left behind the threat, murdered the media by scratching it in the door. And don't forget, DC cops also found explosives near the building that were safely detonated. It's all potentially crucial evidence, as it could show President Trump wasn't spontaneously urging people, amped up followers to show strength and simply march Capitol. It could show the attack was all premeditated plan. Of course it was. That means more serious charges for the rioters and possibly for Trump once he's out of office. So I guess this probably leads credence to the whole idea of the impeachment, right? I'm guessing, or what's it, the 25th Amendment, they're going to make sure they kick him out of office so he doesn't run again, and obviously impeach him to kind of bring him to justice for those crimes. That's, again, I don't really agree with that. I don't think that's probably a fair thing. Not fair. I just think he's caused so much trouble now, and he's still causing a ruckus, right? You saw those screenshots I showed you earlier of him kind of talking on his POTUS account. It probably is worth just like letting him sort of like fizzle out into the reefer. But there's also the argument I've seen people say where they're like, hey, look at the damage he's caused. He needs to be held accountable for it, and we need to show the American public that nobody's over facing the consequence of the actions in some regard. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not too sure if that's really productive in the long term. You know what I mean? The nation seems like it needs to be healed as opposed to concentrating on the stuff that guy is doing. I would imagine anyway. That's basically my thinking behind that one. But I think, how long have we been on? I think that might be it, you know. We've been on for a while already. 140 minutes. Let's have a quick look at the chat and see what you guys are saying. Sweeter than potato. So I describe myself as super sweet. Yeah, I'd like these people to don't know the CIA exists. If they touched the government official, they'd be hunted down. Yeah, of course. Yeah, for sure. Again, this is the thing. I think a lot of these people generally didn't think anywhere past just storming a building. Because that's part of me. Is also the thing. It's like, what did you think what would be like a what was going to be what was the end goal, right? Imagine cool. Let's say you zip tie Nancy Pelosi to a banister somewhere. What do you think happens to you after the fact? Okay, they promised to put Trump in place. Don't worry, we promised we're going to put him back in place. The moment you step out of that building, somebody's, the moment you reach down to your crotch, somebody's going to put a couple of bullets into your skull. It's not going to end well. So I don't think these guys fought anywhere past storming the building. I think the storming the building thing was meant to be a kind of a display of disfaction or something. Dissatisfaction, whatever that word is, right? But I don't think they actually thought through the measures step by step, because it seemed like even though the police outdoors weren't prepared for the riots, I think the guys inside the actual building knew something was up, because as soon as those guys came in, they locked all the main chamber door things. They got all the politicians down into the underground bunker. They did everything that they could to kind of make sure nothing crazy happened. But I think outside, those guys didn't really get any instructions or anything get told to them, I'm guessing, so they didn't have any conflict of interest. But I don't know, man. It's just, it hurts my head how dumb it is, really. It really does give me a headache how stupid it is. Like, and it also makes me believe that maybe 5 people wasn't enough. No, it wasn't enough. 5 people was probably low. The people that could have died. There could have been way more people that could have perished during that moment. Honestly, it could have been a far worse situation. It's actually a good thing that only 5 people passed away, considering the threat of violence that was taking place out there. I don't know, man. These people are insane. And then I've got this here. This is this article here from Commercial Appeal, breaking down a little bit more of it. It says counterterrorism experts, the man in the Senate zip tie patch reminiscent of hostage plot. So some experts are basically saying that those guys were legit. They weren't here to play, right? So it's an article here. It says holding 5 zip ties and handcuffs, a man in head-to-toe paramilitary gear coursed through the upper level of the U.S. Senate chamber on Wednesday, captured by a Getty photographer. The man was not with security, who'd recently evacuated the U.S. senators and Vice President Mike Pence from the floor below. He was among the rioters who disrupted the U.S. congressional certificate of Trump election loss with violence. With his identity unconfirmed by officials as of Thursday evening, the motives of the man, whose tactical gear is adorned with symbols indicating support for military and police, including the thin blue line in the shape of Tennessee, cannot be verified. Really? I didn't see all that. Where else? Oh, okay, I guess it's that thing there, right? The logo he's got on his chest, like the little Punisher skull. He's got a phone, again, everyone's fucking live streaming shit. He's got a hat, again, with that logo. That hat's pretty cool, though. I'm not gonna lie. That looks like something you'd get from, what's that brand? That's got guns and shit, the streetwear brand. Is it FTC? Yeah, FTC. Let's continue here. But for two counterterrorism experts, the photographs bring to mind a recent ploy hatched by Michigan extremist group. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, the Wolverine Watchmen. They went to take Governor Whitmer, right, or something like that, right? To take politicians hostage after storming the state capitol and subduing law enforcement with bombs of cocktails, according to the sworn federal investigation statements and court documents. Jesus Christ. Michigan extremists eventually shifted their focus from siege on the state capitol to kidnapping Governor Gretchen Whitmer from her home. The FBI announced the arrest of 13 people on federal and state charges in October. Yeah, do you remember that? See, the amount of things have happened in the world, right, during this COVID time that people have just like swept under the rug. It's been insane. They tried to kidnap a governor because of the lockdown, because I think she's I guess as a Democrat, and she's been a little bit more tight with the restrictions and closing things down, and people's businesses obviously going under, so the local population isn't really feeling this governor Gretchen Whitmer. So they decided to, you know, essentially plot this scheme where they were going to kidnap her, and I guess all their phones were tapped and whatever it may be, and they all got kind of swiftly arrested before they could do any damage. This on top of the guy, was it in Nashville, who kind of parked his RV outside the AT&T building and blew himself up. Like, so many weird things have happened that no one's really able to really explain and provide any more explanation, any context behind, any more information. It's just so utterly bizarre, innit? And now you've got this flipping guy dressed up like the Punisher, like... Anyway, it continues. Ari Weil, the deputy research director of the University of Chicago's militant propaganda analysis team, said the zip ties seen in the Capitol are reminiscent of the Michigan plot and suggest a desire to conduct a vigilante justice against members of Congress. Okay, this is a researcher. What does she know? Ari, have you been in a fight, babes? Malcolm Nance, a retired Navy counter-terrorism intelligence officer of the 35 years and a New York Times best-selling author of multiple books on national security, said he had the same thought as well when the zip ties and the tactical gear appeared on social media in the aftermath of the first breach of the building in more than 200 years. But when they say that, what do they mean, the first breach more than 200 years? Do they mean no one's tried to do it, or do they mean like they were unsuccessful? Because that building doesn't look that secure. They're making it seem as if, like, you know, they broke into the flipping Pentagon. It's just it looks like a library. Do you know what I mean? Like, relax. It continues. My greatest fear is that they use the mass of people to push through to breach the building. Then what we call a capture and kill team. As the executive director, this, you know, it kind of reminds of a little bit. If you watch the opening sequence of a Tenant, right, where they kind of go in the auditorium and, you know, do whatever they should do. Says, yeah, as the executive director of the Terror Asymmetric Project, a small think tank studying the strategies and tactics of radical ideologies, Nance said that he watched the mob escalate in real time as his team tracked 4 different live streams from separate sides of the Capitol Wednesday. He said, someone hung a noose out at the mall. What makes you think that they would have tried this? He said of the possibility of taking the hostages. Nance said that his team also observed the use of flagpoles, baseball bats as weapons on Wednesday. These guys came for action to do damage. Yeah, of course. Like, I don't think, again, look at the contrasting of the two dudes, isn't it? You've got this one guy who's definitely been in a couple of scraps. He might have a couple of bodies on him, right? Probably a couple of civilians. And then you've got this dude who's just, you know, maybe watched a couple of too many Jack Reacher movies. But they were definitely up to something. Images on Twitter by John Rowton of Senior Researcher, Toronto Citizen Lab, which studies the intersection of cyberspace, global security, and human rights, show a second writer donning a helmet, holding similar zip ties. He says, I can confirm we're aware of the photo. We're working with the State Department's counterparts, in a way so we can identify him. But I'm guessing what will end up happening, they'll end up having to pick up footage from around the building or within the kind of radius of it to find where he maybe picked up his car and stuff. But it's pretty difficult, isn't it? You could just basically see the slit of his eyes. That's all you can see. He's got gloves on, no fingerprints, maybe some DNA. Who knows? DNA from there as well will be flipping difficult. But yeah, imagine that's what they were willing to do, man. They were willing to go for it. They weren't flipping around, man. Like, that's a scary part. Like, those politicians actually got away. They got off pretty easily from the looks of it. They go and look at it from the prison. I get that they live screen the freedom of screen politicians just seems counterproductive. Yeah, true. What says here, Jason? I get that they like to scream about freedom, but hanging politicians seem counter to that. Yeah, for sure. Hanging anyone point blank is probably not the best way to get them to listen to you. That's my thinking behind it, mate. I'm like, Jesus Christ, these people, man. These people. Okay, what else do we have here? Oh, and then to make matters worse, right? If you thought that wasn't worse, guess who decided to pop their head out from the parapet and say that that they were somehow responsible for the riots? Alex motherfucking Jones. Alex Jones, White House directed me to lead the crowd to the US Capitol. Jones claims to have spent $500,000 in organizing the event where the mob violently stormed the US Capitol. Let's see what he has to say. This guy, man, this guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you this, it's not to brag about my connection to this embattled president, because that in the modern world is a millstone around my neck. So you understand what happens. No one would book the Ellipse. No one would book the other areas. No one would pay for it. We went and paid for it. Thank God a donor came in that paid for like 80% of it, because it cost close to $500,000 for all the equipment, all the stages, and the rest of it. The porta potties, you name it. And then the White House told
porta potties.
We're going to have you lead the march. The Secret Service, before Trump finishes 30 minutes before, so we'll lead you to a point, take you out of the front row, and lead you to the place where they want you to start the march. And Trump will tell people, go, and I'm going to meet you at the Capitol. There was 1 million people outside of the Ellipse that was, metal detectors folks coming in. And so by the time I got out there, 20 minutes, 30 minutes before Trump finished his speech, there were already hundreds of thousands of people ahead of me marching. And before Trump ever took the stage, Antifa, dressed up, over 100 of them, as patriots, was there. But they had their classic elbow pads and knee pads, because that's what the wimps wear. Out there screaming F Antifa and Proud Boy chants to try to blame the Proud Boys.
What? Hold on. So he's now alleging that somehow Antifa infiltrated those group of Trump supporters, riled them up to get them to do what? Nah, come on, Alex. You can't be saying this, bruv. What are you talking about, brother? We saw what happened. You saw it play through. The same people that were at the rally were the same people that entered the Capitol building. Apart from that one photographer that got pushed all the way out, I didn't see anyone else that looked Antifa-ish. Most of the people there looked like they were Make America Great Again people, right? MAGA people. Where's this Antifa rhetoric came from? This is wild.
No one's blaming the Proud Boys. It wasn't the Proud Boys, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so who was it then?
And so the Capitol Police at first were nice when people crossed over the little green fence they had around the inauguration stage. Folks were supposed to go to the other side of the Capitol. We had a permit. We had a stage.
Okay. And?
I get there. I see smoke bombs going off. I see tear gas. I see all these people climbing up the sides of the walls. When the illegal aliens do it, everybody loves it. But when citizens do it at the Capitol, it's called terrorism.
Come on, you fucking donut. You can't equate somebody climbing a wall, seeking refuge in a foreign country, to citizen climbing a wall to go and disturb a democratic process. Like, what the hell is he talking about? If ever there was a fake equivalency, that would be it.
I don't think it's good, period. But it was still quite the sight. People climbing these...
Why does he keep messing around with his ear like he's on an earpiece and there's nothing in there?
Walls. Police throwing people off to their deaths. I mean, and I get up on top...
Okay, this is why it's hard to listen to Alex Jones. Police throwing people out to their deaths. Have you seen anybody that got pushed from one of those things that died? Do you know anyone? Obviously, so that dude that was trying to climb up it, again, you live by the climb, you die by the climb. But did you see any police officers pushing people off? Like, come on, man. He just says the wildest shit.
It's like a pallet of chairs. The video's being uploaded as we speak to Band.video. And Twitter caught some of it. And I'm like, stop, don't. That's what they want. It's going to end the debate. We're not going to get the 10-day research into this, because they didn't want the 10 days of research. They didn't want the 10 days.
I don't see police pushing somebody. I see him falling over. No? Is that one that you see, or do you see police pushing somebody?
Research. They didn't want the 10 days that Ted Cruz wanted of emergency investigation into what really happened, finally putting the evidence on. And so by the storming of this, which was started by Antifa.
Nah, I'm not having that. You heard Trump directly tell people to go and what's that thing called? Go to the Capitol building and protest, whatever it may be. So the same people at the rally, they're the same people that we saw at the building. I swear to, like, my eyes don't deceive me. I'm pretty sure that's what I saw. So this whole idea now that they're blaming Antifa is such a clever misdirection, but it's too bait. Like, I'm sorry. Like, we see through this.
Who charged in and attacked the police, and then elicited the police to fire tear gas.
What?
Which is reasonable because they were being attacked. And then the larger crowd got mad because they're patriots and charged in and went into the Capitol. And I'm going to say this now, not to prove I'm right.
So why did they go into the Capitol then? Were they chasing Antifa? Did they think Antifa was seeking refuge inside the Capitol and went to go chase them to beat them up? Because that's not what we saw. We saw people going in there cheering. You saw a guy taking pictures, posing on Nancy Pelosi's desk, people taking, you know, plinths and paintings off the wall and shit, taking selfies. We didn't see anybody running around looking for Antifa people. Come on, man. That's insane. If Antifa were there, we would have known. There would have been fights all over the place, right? Those guys, you know, as wimpy as they are, all in protective headgear, they don't hesitate to throw hands. So there would have been a lot more skirmishes and tussles all over the place. But we didn't see much. Apart from that photographer, like I said, what else did you see?
Right. And not to sit here, because I'm very sad about all this. And I'm going to spend more time next hour on this after we expose Antifa. Q is just a nebulous rattlesnake hole to stick your hand down. It can be good. It can.
Nah, man. I'm not having that. That's disappointing. I'm not having that. They're trying to rewrite the narrative. That's absolute lies. We saw what happened. Trump riled his base, told him to go protest at the Capitol building. It got out of hand, and now they're trying to double back and say it was Antifa. Nah. That's a madness. I'm not having that one. Sorry, I'm not having that one. But anyway, I think that might be where I end, because we're 2 hours in already. So thanks a lot for tuning in. It's been nice to do this little indirect stream. Not stuff I'll talk about in the podcast, because, you know, it takes up too much time, and I don't really know what I'm talking about when it comes to politics. So I try to avoid these sort of things for the most part. But again, thanks so much for tuning in. If it's your first time checking out the live stream, make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe, and leave a comment down below. That'd be nice. If it's your first time tuning in, do that for me. That'd be great. I usually do podcast shows 3 times a week for the most part. I've also set up a Patreon now as well, so get signed up to that. You find a link in my descriptions to patreon.com/Agostino. I'll have like a little show that I put on there every month behind a paywall. It's a bit more risque topic, so if you want to check that out, make sure you sign up. I think tiers start for as low as $1, equivalent of £1, so nice and cheap for you to get involved in. But again, thanks again for tuning in. Social links is where you can find down below here on my Instagram and Twitter. Make sure you follow me on there, and I'll see you guys again very, very soon. But so far, I guess keep yourself safe. Stay away from the protests if you are in the States watching this. If you're in the UK and you're in London, stay home, because 1 in 30 of us has COVID, so you should be worried. I mean, I know I'm worried, that's for sure. And then yeah, I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Take care, be safe. It's been a pleasure to have your company again. Nice to have everybody else in the chat. So take care, be safe, everybody. Good hanging.